Hello, Lettermen Row watchers and listeners. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This is another episode of Birminology. Today we are joined by new Ohio State commitment Tunmise Adeleye from IMG Academy by way of Katy, Texas. Tunmise, thanks for taking time to get on the show again. I know the last couple hours for you have probably been hectic. A lot of calls, a lot of people offering congratulations. So let me be the last to do that. Congrats on your decision, first and foremost. And if we can start there, what made it time to make the call, I guess, because you had talked a number of times saying, August was the idea, August was the idea, but what changed?
I'd say it's a combination of multiple things. Coronavirus being one of them, but I'd say that's in conjunction with I've always known deep down in my heart that I was going to be a Buckeye. So, um, you know, everything. I just felt like it was the right time now so I could be an integral part of the class building process and be integral in helping other guys that the coaches view as elite, helping other guys make their decision and come be Buckeyes and come win with us. Because if they don't come with us, they're definitely going to get beat by.
You, as you said, you guys are building something right now that has the potential to be not just the best class in the class of 2021, as you know, but something that could potentially be the highest ranked class in the history of modern recruiting. And since the internet started tracking this stuff the way we do now, how much of a conversation has there been with the other guys in the class, with Jack Sawyer, with Kyle McCord, with Reed Carrico and Ben Crispin and these guys that led you to this? Was it them saying, hey, this is where you want to be, so get on board? Or was it you saying, I know this is where I want to be, so I'm coming?
It was me saying, I know this is where I want to be. I mean, I've known I was going to be a Buckeye since 2015, since the Oregon National Championship game. I've known deep down in my head, deep down in my heart, I've known. People around me have known. I just got through before I got on the phone. I was just texting one of my teammates from my previous school that after the season in 2018, I had told him, he was like, where are you going to end up going? And I told him I was going to end up going to Ohio State. He just reminded me about that, a couple minutes ago before I got on the call with you. So it's like I've always known deep down, but I felt like now was the best time to do it.
I mean, now that you're committed, maybe it's easier to answer this question without drawing the attention or ire of other fan bases or whatever. But why? Why have you always known it was Ohio State? What was it about? I know there's the relationship with Larry Johnson that's obviously grown and developed and turned into the piece of this puzzle that changes your future. But what is it about the past that you've always found Ohio State, that seemed to draw? You're a kid from what, East Texas, or why Ohio State? What made them like the spot?
Just tradition. Tradition speaks volumes. There's a tradition of winning at Ohio State, and that's at the end of the day, a true football player doesn't want to lose. They want to win in everything they do. So I feel like being set up at an institution like Ohio State would allow me to win, not just in the football aspect, in the life aspect. I'd be able to give back to the community. I'd be able to succeed and win academically. I feel like it was, the whole 9 yards. And I feel like personally for me and my family, it was the best decision for me.
These last few, sorry, go ahead, finish.
I say it's just the tradition.
These last few months, you made the decision to transfer out of Tompkins High School in Texas. You take the trip, you go to IMG, you start school there, start working out there. Now you're back home in Texas because of the coronavirus thing. There was all this talk on the recruiting circuit about Florida and all these other schools that you seemed to be paying more attention to than Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
How did the relationship with Larry Johnson and Ohio State carry through all of this turmoil and this back and forth?
I feel like a lot of people don't understand, if it might be the media don't understand, or people just on the outside looking in at recruiting, they don't understand that coaches know who they want, and they know like kids that are serious about a program. Coach Johnson has always known what my goals in life are, and he's always known that I've been, serious about, transforming my game and getting to the next level. And he knows he is the person that is able to facilitate that and take my game to the next level. So it's always been a mutual understanding between us that, I'm going to end up at a school that's going to prepare me best for the NFL. And he knew the whole time that Ohio State was the school that was going to be that. So I think in the back of his mind, he always knew what was going to happen. So I don't think he was ever too scared whenever I talked about another school or anything.
So some of that, I mean, you might think a guy like Larry Johnson, who is not really involved or active on social media, doesn't see a lot of I don't want to say the game of the recruiting game, but he's talking to you directly, so he may not even notice all the other stuff, or as you said, probably didn't care about it because he's getting to have real conversations with you. Do you think that this recruiting monster has changed kids over the years? Changed you? Did it change like anything about the way you felt like you wanted this process to go?
I felt like it put more unnecessary pressure on me in that sense that, there's a lot of people that are looking towards my decision and looking at where I was going to go. But I feel like it didn't really affect it that much because at the end of the day, I knew I was going to stay true to myself and I was going to go to a school that had things that I'd already outlined as factors that were going to be important to me making my decision. So, at the end of the day, there was some outside pressure, but I felt like throughout this whole process, I stayed true to myself, and I knew what I wanted to get out. It was okay.
Because what you see is fans who are hearing one side of a story, right? So back in November, you had planned to visit. You had a playoff game that canceled the trip. There was hope that you were going to make a trip in January and couldn't. There was the coronavirus cancellation, canceled trips in the spring. And there was a tweet from you that seemed like you were annoyed or agitated, but almost like, do you think people took all that stuff and just made an assumption that you weren't really serious about Ohio State, even though none of that stuff was your, I don't want to say fault, but doing? I mean, you were sort of just a product of the circumstance, right?
Yeah, I'd say people on the outside looking in may have thought that, I wasn't serious about Ohio State or whatnot. But at the end of the day, this is why I tell everyone, the coaches know their job is to get elite talent. Their job is to develop that talent. Their job is to win games. At the end of the day, they know the guys that they want. They have their guys on the board. They have, the guys. Coaches look at film and they know who's going to be good. They know who's putting in the time and doing the little things to improve on their craft and to separate themselves from the competition. So, if you bring a guy in like that and you just continue to mold them and to add your knowledge onto what they already have in their toolbox, coaches know that, they know the guys that they want in their program, and they know the guys that are program changers and game changers. So, at the end of the day, a coach is going to take a commitment from someone that he believes in, someone that he feels can transform their program.
And you've been doing the little things. You went to the Rivals Camp Series and were the defensive line MVP. You made the switch over to the IMG Academy, I would assume with the intent of taking your game to the next level and preparing you more mentally for college. Still, there are people out there and, they see you and wonder where you fit in. Where's your position? You've been adamant that you want to be that, and you intend to be, and Larry Johnson is recruiting you as a defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
How frustrating is it for you as a 17-year-old kid who is just trying to be the best you, that you continually have to listen to outside noise or hear, and not that you have to listen to it, but that you hear outside noise of people who aren't really aware of what's going on?
I look at it like this. Coach Johnson and I know the plan for my career that we have. Coach Johnson knows what he wants to play me at. He knows how he views me. So I don't get distracted by the outside noise, because Coach Johnson, if he didn't want me to play the position that he wants me to play, he wouldn't be recruiting me. You know,
Right.
And it's I just know that Coach Johnson has a plan for me, and I see his vision. I've already sat down with him. I know how things are going to go. So it's like, at this point, it's just all outside noise for me, because he's seen my physical traits. He knows my measurables. He's seen me in person and camp settings. He knows my get off speed. He knows my wingspan. Like, he knows everything about me. He's been saying this to me since they've been recruiting me. He believes I'm an elite talent. That's why he's been pursuing me so hard. So everything else that anybody else has to say doesn't mean anything, because he's the one that's putting the guys into the league. He's the one that's putting the guys into the first round. He knows what he wants. So that's all that matters.
I'm not gonna ask you to speak on this too specifically, but there are people and peers of yours, other kids in this class of 2021, other defensive linemen who in the last couple weeks have made comments on social media that, like, Larry Johnson's career has been because of the players he has, not because of his ability to teach or to coach. As somebody who told me a year ago Larry Johnson was the biggest part of this process for you, and who obviously you still feel that way, otherwise you wouldn't have committed now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you hear that? Like, does that drive you up a wall? Does it make you just laugh, or how? Because you'd think that the proof is in the pudding here, right? I mean,
mm-hmm.
what is going on? Is that just top level recruiting from other schools that they're convincing someone of this, or is that something kids actually think?
I feel like I don't know. Personally, I'm not sure. I feel like it might be pressure put out by other schools to say stuff, because they see what we're building, and they know it's gonna be a long couple of years, you know, for opposing teams that are gonna play Ohio State. So they're trying their best to try and sully the name of the program and you know what coaches here have done. So, you know, to each their own. They're going to continue to do what they need to do to try and get the kids that they want. But, you know, everyone that's committed to Ohio State, everyone that is, you know, a top target for Ohio State knows what Ohio State brings to the table. You know, that's elite coaching, it's elite development, and, you know, it's an elite family-based program that's going to take all to the next level and take us to championships. So if you're ready for that, then come on board.
You told me last June, after your first and only visit to the school at Ohio State, that you got a chance to spend some really good quality time with Chase Young during that visit, and that speaking to Chase about the responsibilities of being a Buckeye, how it kind of changed the way that you viewed recruiting. Like, it made you realize that there was a bigger responsibility for you guys once you make this decision.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've committed, and there's going to be a subsection of people, again, who are, whether it's creating a narrative for a story or just normal skepticism, are going to think that you committed now because you're feeling pressured or bored or whatever. And that once everything gets back to normal, you might still be looking at other schools, blah, blah, blah. How do you move forward from here? How awesome is it for you to make this decision now, a week before Chase Young is drafted, and you know, how do you see this progression for you moving forward into the next phase of your career and the next phase of your high school life?
I'd say for anyone that feels like, you know, I'm looking at any other schools, I'm saying right now, dispel any of those thoughts. I'm 1,000% committed to Ohio State. You know, I'm not interested in anybody else. Obviously, other schools are going to continue to recruit me, because, you know, that's what they do. But as far as is where I stand. I know in my heart, my family knows that Ohio State is the school for me, and everyone knows that, it's a done deal for me. So if I could sign tomorrow, I'd sign to Ohio State. So I don't see myself going anywhere else.
You're now committed along with Jack Sawyer, along with Michael Hall. There is still a push out there for Ohio State to add another defensive lineman or two probably in this class. You're at the IMG Academy, one of the most talent-rich programs in the country. You have a pair of teammates there that are being heavily recruited by Ohio State, and J.C. Latham and Kamar Wilcoxon. You don't seem like you're shy or that you're someone who is going to be reluctant to help recruit for the Buckeyes. How do you approach a player like JT Tuimoloau or someone like that? Are you doing that by yourself? Are you, Jack and Mike, going to combine efforts? Like, who are the targets for you moving forward, and how are you going to get them, I guess?
For me personally, I'm really a kid that I'm really stuck on getting is Emeka, just because knowing his background, he's half Nigerian, his dad is Nigerian, I'm Nigerian as well. Just I know how his dad is approaching the recruiting process. And I know that if my family just sits down with his family, that I know a lot of good things can come from that. A lot of good things can come to fruition from that. So Emeka is a kid that I really, just from the outside, I recognize when someone is really good at football because I've just been playing for so long in my life. Emeka is one of those kids that I'm like, this is a game changer. The coaches feel the same way. So he's probably going to hear all this. I mean, I'm going to put the pressure on him. That's just my personal goal. As far as anyone else, I mean, I already talked to Coach Coombs today. I told him anyone that you need, tell me I got them. I'm going to Kamar, JC, everybody, whoever the coaches need me to go and get, I'm after it. But at the end of the day, I'm not in the business of pressuring anybody. I just let people know straight up. You have the coaching staff, you have the family brotherhood. You saw what Jeffrey Okudah was saying about his teammate Damon. He was asking the NFL analyst why his teammate's not a first round corner. So it's a brotherhood over there. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say you can come and win with us, or you can come and get whooped by us every single year. So it is what it is.
Well, look, Tunmise, I really appreciate you taking time. I know, like I said, your phone's probably been ringing off the hook today. I wanted to tell you that I do appreciate on Wednesday night when you made the announcement that you tweeted, I'm going to do interviews tomorrow. So that people, I feel like, and if I can get on a soapbox here for a second, I feel like so many kids in your position, which is obviously a very blessed position to be in, allow other people to control their experience. And just because people write things on the internet or do videos like this doesn't mean that we should have any control over what you do or how you do it or when. And I maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that feels like I'm placating people, but I just think it's frustrating that kids who are going through one of the biggest and best moments of your entire life feel like it's a burden sometimes to celebrate because people are so over the top with what they're trying to do. But anyway, that's just my soapbox. So listen, thanks very much for taking time. Congratulations. Continue celebrating with the family in Lettermen Row. We'll talk to you in the future. Hopefully we'll get to see you on campus sometime soon so I can get some photos of you because I don't have any of you in my library. So it makes it very difficult to write stories about you. So it's unfortunate when I'm trying to write a story about Tunmise Adeleye and I have to put a picture of Larry Johnson. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So anyway, thanks, man. Have a great day. Thanks for watching this episode of Bermanology on Lettermen Row, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got Buckeye Q with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.